Do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.
Happy Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, everybody. This is Dr. Willie Jolley and
Dee.
And we are grateful to have you with us. We are the Jolleys. We're the authors of the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. We want to welcome all of you wherever you may be around the world. Last week we had people coming in from Thailand and Greece, and we've had people all over the world who join us for this Monday night show. So thank you. Greg and Linda, our every week's, they've been with us for years. Greg because they're a great speaker, author, trainer. He buys this book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, by the box loads, and gives them to people who are getting married, family members, to friends, newlyweds. So thank you, Greg and Linda. They're watching from home today. And so good. We're welcoming everybody wherever you may be. We're glad you're here. We want to take a moment first to say, obviously, we're not at any of the inaugural balls. Because we're here with you. So that's one thing. But say welcome wherever you may be. And we want to celebrate tonight the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
with an emphasis on Coretta Scott King.
That's right. Now, before we get into tonight's show, we want to let you know that, one, you can go to see our TED Talk, How to Never Ever Argue Again in Marriage, absolutely free at JolleyMarriage.com. JolleyMarriage.com. We encourage everybody to watch that TED Talk. It's 12 minutes long, but we haven't had an argument. We're going on 40 years of married, but we haven't had an argument over 38 years. And
I always say yes, dear.
Yeah, right. Okay. We don't argue because there's a formula we use, and we encourage everybody to know the formula, then use the formula. There's a 4-step formula. I won't go into it now, but y'all who have been with us over time know that that's the secret sauce. It works. And we tell people how the story of my niece and her husband, who called us one night and said, we're having an argument that might break up our marriage. And we said, but we were out at dinner for Dee's birthday with her best friend. And I said, call you when we get home. Don't do anything. Don't say anything else. We got home. They told us, I said, we can't stop. Have you got a formula? We told them our formula. This was in October of that year. In November for Thanksgiving, we went to their home in New Jersey for Thanksgiving dinner. And they said, everything's changed. They took us out, said everything's changed because their formula works. Hey, Gladys, she's trying to get on. I don't know why Gladys always has a problem getting on.
I'm definitely not the person to ask about that.
So anyway, go see the TED Talk at JolleyMarriage.com. Everybody. And if you got people who newlyweds, give them access to it. Just make sure you watch that. Also, we want to congratulate my wife on being the wife of the day.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome. Okay, let's get going.
2 things.
Oh, Terrence is on the other. He's here with us. Good to be with you, Terrence. You're on the Real Willie Jolley. We're broadcasting in 3 places.
Thank you, wherever you're coming from.
Yeah.
Share the information as you find it helpful, and you will find someone else that you can share it with and help them also. That's what we're about.
Our goal in writing the book is Save 1 Million Marriages, Enhance 1 Million Marriages. We've got a few now who have been saved. So let's see if we can.
All right. So our emphasis is on 2 things tonight, and we're going to be quick, fast, and a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
And I had said to Will, you know what? There's Martin Luther King, and then there's Coretta Scott King. Seldom, if ever, is Martin Luther King Day, but she was instrumental in helping
critically instrumental.
The recognition of the MLK holiday. So
of which, hold on, let me give a historical analysis.
Okay.
I marched in the snow with Stevie Wonder and others to when he was trying to get this bill passed. Myself and Joe Minor, when we had our record deal with CBS Records, we marched in the snow to ask for that holiday to be established, the MLK holiday.
Well, thank you for your efforts.
I did that.
The two of you made a world of difference.
Yeah, we did. with the other thousands of people.
Thank you for your efforts. So the focus very quickly for MLK Day is on Coretta Scott King. I was like, well, she was the force behind the man.
She really was.
She was the force.
Do you know her background? She was an opera singer.
Yes.
And a pianist. And
her life changed when she married him.
Right.
And so both of them could not be on the road going in different directions. And then plus the violence, the threat to the home, the raising of the children. So she took on that responsibility of being the force behind the scenes that helped to keep things going as he was out marching and putting his life on the line.
Yes.
Okay, so a couple of things.
Yeah.
She was an emotional anchor, which made me think, in relationships, who's the keep things grounded?
Your mama was the emotional anchor, and we learned a lot about marriage from her parents. See, my dad died when I was a teenager. I was 13, so I didn't get to study their marriage and know about marriage. But I learned a lot about marriage from her parents. How her father was a pastor and was an entrepreneur, had a grocery store and a laundromat and a barbershop, but the mother always gave him deference, always let him be in the front, but she ran everything. She ran everything. So
the steadfast presence, Coretta Scott King was a stabilizing force in an often very violent, tumultuous environment of the civil rights movement.
Correct. Okay. Correct. Yes.
All right. Okay. She was the family like organizer or steward. So so you got children, you've got housekeeping stuff, you got food to buy, the education of the children, taking them back and forth and doing those things. She was that stabilizing force too.
Yes. Yes.
And, so he didn't have to be concerned about taking the kids to school. I mean, he was out marching here, there, everywhere. So he could focus on that because she kept the home fires burning, doing all those things, almost like being a single parent.
Right. Right. But I want to get to the next point, which is trusted advisor.
All right. She was an advisor and a confidant.
A trusted advisor. And we go back, that goes back to the book. We say one of the secrets to success in your marriage is that you should be able to be a trusted advisor. In chapter 7, how to handle a stalemate, we talk about the importance of being a trusted advisor. Your spouse should be your trusted advisor. That I tell the story of my mom and dad. They would always have the same routine. Dad would be driving the car. Mom would be in the passenger seat. Dad would say on the highway, "Can I get over?" Because back then, we had a late 50s model Chevy that my dad drove, and my mom had a Ford. And back with my dad's car, it had a rear view mirror on the driver's side and a rear view mirror up at the top, but it didn't have anything on the right side, on the passenger side. So when he needed to get over, he'd say to my mom, "Can I get over?" She rolled that window down. For those who are youngins who don't know about rolling the window down, no electric, you rolled it, right? You had a cylinder, you would crank it down. And she put her head out and say either yes or no. Whatever way she would give the advice, that's how he would respond, because
he trusted her.
She was a trusted advisor.
Okay. So next, she was an advocate for legacy, for what he would leave in the future. So she helped to build the King Center,
right,
and to prepare the legacy, all of the work, the years, the groundwork that was necessary to keep the legacy, the Martin Luther King work, alive.
I heard Bernice King this morning. Many of you know I'm on Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell, and we are syndicated across America. And this morning they had an interview with Bernice King on the show, and I tune in every day to hear my segment to make sure it plays okay and whatever. And Bernice King talked about her mother and how her mother was such a powerful force toward the King Center becoming established and making sure that it ran well until her illness and her subsequent death. So that's a big deal, folks. That's a big deal.
All right. So she was a legacy advocate, and well as they referred to her in one of the books, and this source is the King Center about Coretta Scott King. I have not actually been to the King Center.
I've been to the King Center.
And this talked about that she was a behind the scenes organizer, logistics, organizing events, and managing communication, the power of getting the word out in the right way. So she was very, very busy, and also raising small children, because when he was assassinated, the children were still small.
Yeah, they were young.
So she was also a community organizer.
One was Bernice was, I think, 5 years old.
And was great at getting community support.
Yes. Yep. And let me tell you, she continued to be a force. She continued to hold the dream in her hand that he had established. This woman was a strong woman. She didn't sign up for this. Okay, I think that's a major part of this. She signed up to be a pastor's wife in a small southern city, and
but she could play the piano.
She could play the piano, and
she was. I think that she was socially adept. She was trained as an opera singer,
classical
probably
musician.
very polished,
yeah,
and the like.
Yep.
And she had to roll up her sleeves and fight.
That's the thing. So one of the keys to having a successful relationship, folks, is that you got each other's back.
Being fit and adaptable.
Yeah.
She was fit and she was adaptable.
And so what do you mean by fit and adaptable? Because I think you need to play that out, because some people, you make an assumption they know what that means. That means what? I want people to hear this, because this is one of the keys to a great relationship, is being fit and adaptable.
Focused on what is going on around you and willing to make the necessary changes to make it happen. To make the environment successful. That means being fit. Okay. So if you're broke down, falling to pieces, and not able to focus on anybody other than yourself, you can't be helpful. So once you are able to focus on what is going on around me, how can I be of service? How can I make a difference? And you figure out what that is, which means you gotta, my big thing, you gotta study your mate. You gotta know what's going on.
Don't fly by that. Study your mate. Come on now. Don't go fly. Because see, you're making an assumption. These people, many of the people on one of these Instagrams are new. But we've been with some of the other platforms a long time. Well, this is a new platform. What do you mean when you say that what you just said?
You have to take time to learn who your mate is. Because you marry somebody doesn't mean you understand all of their foibles, their issues. You learn the idiosyncrasies. You learn with time, and you learn, when they're like this, I need to be like this. So when they zig, I need to zag. How do we stay in sync with each other? And you only learn that by taking the time to question, to listen, question, and clarify. That's that LQC. To listen, question, and to clarify, and to be genuinely interested in your mate.
Okay, so where did that stem from? Would you say that Coretta Scott King implemented what we put as step number one?
Friends first.
Friends first. Okay, Jerome Washington, I see you. Thank you for joining us. People joining us from all over. I see people from all over. You can put in the chat where you're from.
Oh, that would be good.
So we'll know if you're from where you are around the country. That would be good. Around the world. Why I say around the country?
So visit
Friends first. She was his friend.
Yes.
Not just his confidant, his advisor, his wife, but his friend. And folks.
And she bought into his vision.
Yes.
She had to buy into the vision to take on.
That's good point, Dee. Great point. Let me give you these are life lessons. You bought into my vision. I was a singer, a nightclub singer, and you were working at a law firm for a while, then started working at Capitol Hill. I decided one day I'm quitting. I got fired from my singing job because it caused a karaoke machine. Y'all should know my setback setup for comeback book. That's all in there. Get that. But then I say, after a couple of years of working in schools, working as an associate professor, trying to find my place. I gave a speech, and I knew what I was supposed to do. And I started speaking, working for the school system. And then after a year, I quit and said, I'm becoming a full-time speaker. And I said, we're going to make it. Now, I was charging $100 a speech.
I think we got it.
But I want to talk about how you bought into my vision, and you supported that vision. And when I did,
well, I think honestly, just honestly, you make it.
Well, you did, and you encouraged me when I wasn't sure how I was going to make bills meet. But we made it through, and every time she supported, and that's why I think Coretta did supported him. Think about.
She might not have. When I say, it can be a challenge because I get asked.
It's always a challenge.
How do you deal with him? I'm like with prayer and supplication. All right. So you don't necessarily. Oh, I understand everything you're doing, and I'm buying it all. It can be a gradual thing, but I respected you, so I figured when you said, you know what, we're gonna be okay. We are going to make it work. And I said to myself, we gotta make it work. And if I'm in a boat with you, it's going to work. That's where that.
Our pastor tells a story, a little joke. He says about his wife, First Lady Trina Jenkins. We always give a shout out pretty much every week about our church, First Baptist Church of Glenarden in Maryland. We really love our church and our pastor. But he tells a joke about that his wife was that they were going for a trip somewhere, and the wife popped at a little gas station, and there was a guy in there chewing gum, and she said, "Oh, that's my former boyfriend, and he's now the big pastor of the biggest church in Maryland." And he said, and he kind of, look what you'd be if you be with him. And she said, "I'd be the first lady of the First Baptist Church of Glenarden." It's a joke, but it's a good joke that she's part of his success, and you're part of my success.
Right.
And Coretta Scott was a major part of
the decision of we in it together. And I don't understand how all the pieces fit together.
Right.
But with me by your side, we're going to figure it out.
We're going to figure it out.
Because a lot of it, I had no clue as to what you were doing.
I didn't either.
Take a deep breath.
I didn't know, but I did know that God knew. Somebody said that about that. God knew what I was going to do, and He gave me the vision to go and make it happen. Come on now. Am I right about Terrence? Am I right about it?
Building the plane as we fly it.
That's
so
right.
that comes with faith. Okay, faith. Absolutely
necessary. Call forth those things that be not as though they are.
So the King Center website is a wonderful resource.
Yes.
As well as her memoir, My Life with Martin. A journey of love and liberation. Wow. Gives her personal reflections. Okay, that's one. Then the second part for this evening was what to do in case your house burns down. Now that's completely
Now we made a quick turn because we want to get this in because so many people
very current
are current with the LA fires. In fact, my XM show this week is with J.R. Fenwick, the founder of Flip That Stock, one of the top investment education organizations in America. His house burned to the ground some years ago.
So what if they don't if they don't have XM, how do they get?
If you don't have XM, this week we're going to do something. The launch of the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways television broadcast here in 2025. The first interview will be my interview with J.R. Fenwick on video. We're going to take all those wonderful video interviews I've done over the last few years.
So how do they get it?
You just simply go to wjwow.com. WJWow.
So when they sign up, do they get to choose?
If they sign up, they will get it automatically. They're going to get it. If they sign up to wjwow.com, put your email in, you'll get some goodies because we got a lot of good stuff there. Free books, free ebooks, free audiobooks, free audio lessons, all good stuff. Go there, sign up. You'll get the newsletter and you'll get a email this week with the video of this incredible interview.
Okay,
it's an incredible interview.
What to do if your house burned down? And I get the transcripts and everything and go through all that too. But it was like certain things that I need to do.
Yes.
So we need to check to see if we're doing these things
like
now.
Right now.
So here's the quick and dirty. What to do in case your house burns down. And I had never thought of these things. His philosophy is better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Insurance.
And that was insurance. That was referring to upgrading his insurance. I won't give you all the details now, but he had upgraded his
for a few dollars more.
It was $20 more a month. He said, "Oh, yeah, things are going great. Oh, yeah, I'll just update it. No big deal." How did his house burn down?
Then his house burned down. Sometime later, a couple years later, house burned down after he had upgraded his insurance, and how having that upgraded top of the line insurance was the difference.
Right.
Okay, first
so how did his house burn down? I was saying the heat in the attic.
Don't go into detail. That's it.
I could have said it right now, honey.
We only got 10 minutes.
I know, I can do that.
All right.
Okay. Some wires melted the coating. The attic overheated. It melted the coating on some wires, and the spark from the wires caused the fire.
Electrical fire.
It was an electrical fire.
We just had another friend who, a minister, who I went to high school with, Reverend Gregory Skurlock, his house in Northeast Washington.
2 weeks ago. Electrical fire.
Electrical burned to the ground.
And they were at home.
They went home and they lost everything.
Okay. Jump to, what do you do?
3 buckets, he said you got to have.
But first you got to call. You don't think about that. He's watching his house burn down. The firemen are then coming and they're like, okay, insurance. He said he hadn't even thought about calling the insurance company as he's watching his house burn down and the wife and the kids were not home. Okay, he says, you got to have 3 buckets. He said, what is that? A rebuild bucket.
Rebuild bucket.
Now, what? A rebuild bucket. So do you know what your rebuild value is in your insurance? And I was like, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
So do you pay more if you have your house is rebuilt with whatever the cost is in today's dollars?
Right.
That's what he was saying.
Rebuild bucket
because
first.
if our house is 100 and some years old, so if our door is 100 and some years old, we're only going to get the cost of the door that's 100 and some years old.
No, we want a new door.
We want
an
up-to-date door. So we have to check what it costs to rebuild and make sure that's a part of our homeowners policy.
Number 2,
replacement bucket. Now, what does that mean? And he said, replacement. And,
everything in the house.
And the fire inspector, whatever, said, you need an Excel spreadsheet. He said, what? An Excel spreadsheet.
Everything.
You need an Excel spreadsheet. So everything in your house. I don't have an Excel spreadsheet for everything that's in the house.
He said down to the Q-tips and the get medicine cabinet.
I said, I said, well, how do you do that? Use your phone and take a video, and you need to do yearly of every item in the medicine cabinet.
Well, I started today. I started today on this floor. I took a video of every single solitary item on this floor.
And Cheryl said that she
does that regularly, including the serial numbers. So we have a ways to go. Right.
So we've got a rebuild bucket. What's the rebuild value, and is that automatically included in your insurance? What's the replacement? They're not going to replace if you can't tell them what you had in your property, down to the clothing and the toothbrushes and the Q-tips.
Right. And
a living expense budget. A living expense.
Because if your house burned down, you still got to pay the mortgage.
That's what he said. He still had to pay the mortgage.
Still got to pay the mortgage on the house.
Which is what is happening with the fires and the people's houses burning down. And that's a major bone of contention, because a lot of the insurance companies say, okay, that's too bad. But the mortgages still due.
Right.
And there's no house.
Let me take a moment, because it just hit my spirit to say this. We mentioned First Baptist Church of Glenarden. Pastor made an announcement on Sunday that we are raising money to send to people in California. Churches burned down, homes burned down, people who had nothing. Many of the people in Altadena were working class people and places like that. So, and my friend who's a pastor, her church where she pastored for 23 years burned to the ground. So he said, if you make a donation, it's put in there for the fire of LA fires, and that the church will match whatever. So we sent a check going out in the mail in the morning, and we encourage people, if you say, I want to help and I want a valid place, First Baptist Church of Glenarden is going to be a great place where we know we have a pastor who has integrity with every dollar. And so you can call the church, go online, find the address, send a check, or maybe a QR code on the website, I would assume. So that would be something. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Okay. So living expense budget. So you need to have at least a year or two. That's
Yeah,
a lot of money.
Because he said it took a year and a half.
It took a year and a half to rebuild. I was like, oh my goodness. So you have to check our savings.
So you had to have a place to live.
Emergency savings money.
Yeah, you had to have a place to live.
Mm-hmm.
For initially a hotel.
So it's really like double. You got to have a place to live. The hotels and stuff are not cheap. And if you have a mortgage, you got to be able to pay the mortgage.
You got to pay the mortgage. You got to have a place to live. You got to have food.
It's devastating.
Right.
It's absolutely devastating.
Right.
So it's a little more than a year to rebuild. All right. So what lessons did JR learn from this experience? Okay. He said, surround yourself with good people before a tragedy because they will encourage and nurture you. That's a wow.
Yes.
And he mentioned you as somebody when he was depressed. He was looking at the smoldering stuff days later, and you guys talked and you said, what's your vision? Don't look at the ashes and things that you see there. What do you see in your mind's eye as to what your next house is going to be? That was encouraging to him.
Yes.
Know your insurance policy.
Get it out.
I'm digging that out. Yes.
Pull it out. And have it on your phone. Take pictures. So if you run out the house with nothing but your phone and your drawers and your phone, you at least know what your insurance policy. All your important. One more thing. Get your important documents and stuff on your phone. Take a picture. Scan it.
So we're taking pictures. That it's frightening to me.
All
okay.
Right.
Have living expenses after 2 years. That's something you have to work on. I don't know how many people, but it's something like that. So I was thinking, what other options? So if you say, well, you know what, I don't have immediately, I'm gonna need $150,000 to live for 2 years to pay the more. So then you think, well, where else could I get money from? Your 401k. Maybe you could borrow from that. Your 403b, or your investments. So that's why it becomes important to have these different pockets.
Well, that's why you go to flipthatstock.com to learn how to invest and learn how to make your money make more money. Okay, go ahead.
And lastly, the idea, build a business that a fire can't destroy, which is what he did.
That's right. He turned that setback into a comeback.
That stock. He said as he looked at his house burning, he says, well, because he was an entrepreneur.
Right.
And he had a recording studio where you had recorded a couple of your albums and the like. And he said, my next vision has to be, what can I create that the fire won't destroy?
That's good.
And he studied. So he went from, because he had been in the medical profession. He had been a nurse. He had been in medical sales. Then he switched to the media and recording studio. And then with the burning down, the great thing that came out of that, not only did he get a bigger and better house,
beautiful,
but his whole career changed. He had to study how to be an investor.
Yes, and he did well, and he now teaches it. Terrence said, did you say money? Yes, Terrence. Okay, let's see. We got lots of calls. He said, I'm listening now. Folks.
9:30.
9:30.
So we want you
to
listen to this. What to do
when your house burns.
Your house burns.
JR Fenwick, if you got XM, it'll air tomorrow at 6 o'clock Eastern, channel 141. XM, 6 o'clock Eastern, 141. It will re-air Thursday at 6 o'clock, 141. If you don't have XM, just go to everybody should just go to wjwow.com, sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get it. We're sending it out this week as a gift to everybody.
It's a great interview.
It's an incredible interview, and you're going to be blessed by it. Okay?
And it'll make you stop and think, and you will go back and pull out that insurance policy and see what's covered and make the necessary adjustments.
Yep.
For the success of your family.
Make love, make money, make it last. 10 secrets to shape a great marriage. Go to jolleymarriage.com, jolleymarriage.com. Get 2 copies, one for you and one for your significant other. Read it together. At the same time, at the end of each chapter, discuss what you learned in that chapter. It will impact your marriage in a mighty way. Go also if you
a positive way. You say a mighty way.
Mighty way, positive way. Okay.
Positive way.
Words. I will go with your words. Next thing. If you have some issues in your relationship and you want to fix them, we have a relationship repair series. You can go to jolleymarriage.com/events. jolleymarriage.com/events to take advantage of the relationship repair series. We talk about sex, money, communication, family, and blended family in those sessions. Each one is powerful and will help you. And then we are still thinking about, we got more and more people. If you're interested in our marriage enrichment event the day after Valentine's Day, send me an email. Say, I'm interested in that. info@williejolly.com. We're going to do it on Zoom. info@williejolly.com. Say, I'm interested in the marriage event. Valentine's Day event. Okay. Our time is up. We did pretty good. So we will see y'all next week.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.
Please, the information in case your house burns down.
Yep. And then happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. My favorite MLK Jr. quote. Yeah, I got two favorites. If you can't run, no, you can't walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. If you can't crawl, then walk. If you can't crawl, then walk, then run. If you can't run, then fly. No, if you can't fly, then walk. If you can't walk, then run. If you can't run, then crawl. If you can't crawl, just do whatever you got to do to keep moving forward. Now that's one. But the one I like the most is out of his speech, the drum major instinct, where I use this in my messages often about the power of service. There's a small piece in there. He said, if you want to be great, that's nice. If you want to be important, that's fine. But if you want to be a real make it happen person, a great person, then you got to understand service, because the greatest among us is the greatest servant. And he said, any and everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college education to serve somebody. You don't need to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve somebody. You don't need to know the Einstein's theory of relativity to serve somebody. All you need is a heart full of love and a soul generated by grace. And if you have that, you can serve somebody. And if you serve somebody, you can be great. Today, this week, celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday all week, all month, all year by serving somebody every time you can. Hey, this is Dr. Willie Jolley.
This is Dee.
We'll see you later. We're going out with my music from my jazz album, Close to You. Hope y'all will enjoy this.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.